This Epstein scandal just continues to grow. Just so many details in the Epstein story, they're just not adding up, and now the Democrats are hatching a plan to blow it wide open. And where we'll start is with the apparent breakup between Trump and Epstein in 2004. Because the exact reason these lovebirds split, it's kind of been and still is a bit of a mystery, with some reports suggesting it had to do with a bitter real estate deal, and others claiming it was because Epstein acted inappropriately toward a daughter of a member of Mar-a-Lago. And then this month, you had the White House insisting that Trump actually cut ties with him because Epstein was a, quote, creep. But then, this past Monday, during his meeting with Keir Starmer, Trump himself offered a third explanation that seemed to contradict his own White House.
He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again, and I threw him out of the place. Persona non grata.
And so after that, you had people going, okay, so was he a creep or did he poach your staff? And then yesterday you had a reporter pressing him for clarification.
So can you explain that discrepancy?
Well, maybe they're the same thing, you know, it's sort of a little bit of the same thing.
So is that what was meant by being a creep? I'm the travel pool, but I'm with NBC News.
NBC fake news.
But then you had skeptics pointing out that when you combine that with comments like this,
When they steal people, I don't like it.
and this,
The concept of taking people that work for me is bad.
and this,
When I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people.
it sounds like, or at least his story now, is that Epstein's transgression was that he violated Trump's general rule against poaching employees and not that he raped underage girls or acted creepy. Though also, when a reporter asked, he did admit that those employees fit a specific demographic.
Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And the answer is yes.
And then, when a reporter asked whether one of those women was Virginia Giuffre, right, the late Epstein survivor who alleged that Maxwell recruited her from Mar-a-Lago when she was a 16-year-old spa attendant there, at first he said,
I don't know.
but then 6 seconds later, Trump said,
He stole her.
which, as some have pointed out, seems to throw a wrench in his story, right? Because Giuffre was reportedly poached from Mar-a-Lago in 2000. That's 4 years before Trump stopped talking to Epstein. And in 2002, Trump gave the now infamous quote to New York Magazine in which he called Epstein a terrific guy and said, he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. And so that would seem to suggest that Trump knew about Epstein's creepy tendencies at employee poaching well before they split up. And as journalist Sarah Blasky reported, Epstein remained on Mar-a-Lago's membership rolls until October 2007. That's roughly 3 years after the apparent breakup and over a year after Epstein was charged with sex crimes. And so on this point, we're just left with more questions now than answers, though the internet has been very happy to fill in the blanks. But also, this isn't the only thing that people are hitting on, because CBS News just published a thorough analysis of the Epstein jail footage that was released by the Department of Justice earlier this month, and there's a lot to talk about. So first of all, the FBI said that anyone trying to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was would have been caught by the camera. But as CBS pointed out, the pathway from the primary entrance of the common area to the stairs is completely obscured. And when you see Epstein for the first and only time on camera being escorted to a cell at 7:49 p.m., you don't actually see him ascend the stairs.
Here's the sliver of stairs. Epstein is here with his escort, and they walk off screen.
Then at 8:21, another inmate being escorted the same way can't be seen climbing the stairs either. And then when a guard supposedly visited Epstein's cell around 10:30, you can see her heading in that direction, but not going up the stairs. Next, at 10:38, the camera does capture someone on the stairs, but it's not clear exactly who, with the DOJ's Inspector General report suggesting it's probably the same guard carrying a bundle of bedding or clothing. But several video forensics experts told CBS they're skeptical of that and think it could actually be an inmate. And that detail, it's important because, according to the FBI, this was the last time that anyone approached Epstein's cell block before his body was discovered the next morning. What's more concerning is, although the authorities claim that nobody could actually enter the special housing unit without one of the two guards there letting them in with a key, the video itself seems to disprove that. Because at around 4 a.m., someone walked into the unit, apparently without the help of either guard. Though regardless, at least a half a dozen times, one of the guards reportedly exits the frame in the direction of the door anyway. And there's a number of additional quirks with the footage that experts pointed out to CBS, such as that one, a mouse cursor appears at one point indicating that it's actually not the raw file, but likely a screen recording. 2, the video's metadata suggests it's actually 2 separate clips stitched together with editing software. 3, the metadata also shows it was edited and saved multiple times. 4, at 11 hours and 59 minutes, the video skips 1 minute ahead to midnight and the aspect ratio changes. Right? And in regard to the missing minute, as we've talked about before, you had Attorney General Pam Bondi saying that it was an automatic nightly reset of the cameras, and she promised to release more footage showing that they are in fact reset every night. But not only has the White House still failed to provide that evidence now 3 weeks after that promise, but also a high-level government source told CBS that the FBI and other agencies actually possess the full unedited footage and that there's no missing minute in it. Now then, with all that, the Inspector General report mentions a second functioning camera, and so you had CBS figuring, hey, that could at least corroborate the nightly reset claim. But the thing is, when they asked about it, the response was textbook Kafka.
We reached out to the Department of Justice to see about obtaining that footage. They referred us to the FBI, who referred us back to the Department of Justice.
But if they're not going to hand over the footage, let alone the files, willingly, Congress just might force them to. And no, House Speaker Mike Johnson did not have a change of heart. He's still blocking the resolution from Thomas Massie and others. Rather, what we're seeing is that the Democrats have discovered a little trick that may let them bypass the Republican majority. Because you see, it turns out that there's a rarely invoked law from 1928 that compels an executive branch agency to hand over requested information when it is requested by at least 5 members of the Senate's Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. And it just so happens that there are 7 Democrats on that committee. And so today, all of them, along with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, sent a letter to the DOJ demanding the full and complete Epstein files. And they requested those files by August 15th, saying,
"Our request covers all documents, files, evidence, and other materials in possession of the DOJ, the FBI, related to the case of the United States versus Jeffrey Epstein. Every single time Donald Trump or his administration or Republican leaders have had a chance to be transparent about the Epstein files, they have chosen to hide. Donald Trump should stop hiding from the truth. He should stop hiding from the American people."
Now, a possible caveat here is that this 5-member rule, it has not faced significant tests in the court, so it's actually unclear whether it's going to be enforceable. But still, this is actually a bold move from Schumer. Because, while there's been a lot of talk, and recently he demanded a closed-door briefing between the White House and Senate on the Epstein files, and he's called for the FBI to conduct a counterintelligence threat assessment related to the files. Now he's actually doing something with some teeth. And notably, if this move provokes a legal battle with the White House, then that'll force Senate Republicans to choose between backing Trump and protecting their own power of congressional oversight. Though there, I have to note that any legal case, it could take years and might end up before the Supreme Court. But for now, just more and more continuing to happen on this Trump-Epstein front.